Welcome. We're glad you're joining the Fountains today. Along with this virtual connection, I'd like to encourage you to keep sharing what's happening with you and your loved ones so we can offer one another the kind of support that the Fountains is known for. Just send us your joys and concerns by leaving a voicemail message at the office, by emailing it to welcome@weputlovefirst.org, or you can also click on the link below on tinyurl.com/fountainsconnection and fill in the online forms. In the meantime, thanks in advance for sharing your joys and concerns with us, and thanks for being a part of the Fountains virtual family. We're glad you're joining us for today's celebration.
Join us as we get in the Spirit. Gather, beloved community. Hear the call of justice.
We gather, ready to lift our voices and act with compassion.
Gather, agents of hope, even when the world feels fractured.
We gather, trusting in the Spirit to strengthen our resolve.
Gather, faithful followers of Jesus. Proclaim mercy to the oppressed.
Like Jesus, we are ready to feed the hungry and stand with the marginalized.
Gather, children of the light. May justice roll down like water.
We gather, ready to shine the light of hope into every shadow.
Now, more than ever, the world needs us.
Now, more than ever, we answer Jesus' call.
Let's affirm the Fountain's mission together.
As followers of Jesus, we put love first.
As we take this moment to center ourselves, we seek to make space for the Spirit to be at work, stirring us to examine with humility the deepest parts of who we are. So, wherever and whenever you're experiencing this moment, take a deep breath and center down. Set aside the chatter in your mind. Let go of all the distractions of the day and simply be still. Breathe deep. Settle into the here and now. And may we sense the Spirit's presence.
Move me, move me, move me to do your will. Move me, move me, move me to do your will. Move me, move me, move me to do your will. Move me, move me, move me to do your will.
We gathered together, keenly aware of the challenges that surround us: hatred, suspicion, ignorance, grievance, and violence. All of them forces that threaten the justice, compassion, and equality Jesus calls us to strive for.
So we remember the courage of those who came before us, prophets, visionaries, and change makers who refused to remain silent. We claim their heritage of clarity in seeing what is right, the strength to act with integrity, and the boldness to act with compassion, even when fear frustrates our good intentions.
May our spirits be stirred into not only recognizing oppression, but strengthened to counter injustice with creative, generous acts of love.
Now, more than ever, we dedicate ourselves to being faithful witnesses to what is good in the world, proclaiming the kind of acceptance and love that Jesus demonstrated, not in words alone, but in every choice and every act we undertake.
If a genuinely beloved community is ever going to be a reality, ours are the hands and hearts that will build it. As we rise to meet the challenges Jesus sets before us, let us be courageous. Let us be vigilant. Let us be obstinately, irritatingly determined, now more than ever.
This is our prayer.
We offer this time of quiet, bringing our whole selves in the name of the one who taught his first followers to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Move me, move me, move me to do your will. Move me, move me, move me to do
Good morning. My name is Julie Vibrock. I, along with Sally and Nancy, am one of the coordinators for our efforts in Family Promise. I came to Family Promise from working with organizations back in Kansas and also with a faith-based organization here in Phoenix. I knew when I heard that the Fountains was going to be involved with Family Promise that I wanted to be involved also. I think for me, the greatest joy is after the frenetic pace and the chaos of the first night or two. It's the look of settling in on both the parents and the children's faces, that relaxed look, the knowing that we are here, we're safe here, it's okay to rest, and let us be a safe place to trust. My church family has huge hearts, and I'm deeply grateful for being on this journey with you as we push that care and love out into the world and give someone that look of peace and rest. So if you would like to join us, our first week is October 19th through the 26th. Please look for the Sign Up Genius in the eStreams newsletter that you get and sign up and come join us. It's chaotic, it's fun, it's laughing, it's a few tears sometimes, but just join us in putting our love first as we go out and serve in this mission.
I'm Nancy Garten, one of 3 that help coordinate Family Promise at the Fountains. We are supporting a larger organization, Family Promise of the Greater Phoenix area. We have a list of 70 people who are interested in volunteering for Family Promise, and we actually have 50 opportunities for people to sign up to help Family Promise each time. Now, some people sign up for more than one job. For example, a person may sign up to do laundry and set up tents, or someone may donate money and bring a meal. But there are 50 spots that we need help in. We believe Family Promise has played a part in helping families get off and stay off the street, and that each and every one of you play a role in helping. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sally Lloyd, and I'm the 3rd of the Family Promise coordinators at the Fountains. I became involved when I volunteered to create the Sign Up Genius link for people to indicate how they would like to volunteer or donate for our Family Promise outreach. As I learned more about the program, I came to realize the vital role Family Promise plays in supporting families seeking jobs and housing throughout our communities. The families have shared with us their stories and their hopes for stability, showing that Family Promise in Arizona is truly making a difference in helping them move toward higher, brighter, more secure futures. Thank you for participating in this wonderful program with us.
Every day, the Fountains strives to put love first, both in person and online.
And if you're one of our many regular online viewers, we're grateful for your participation as a digital member.
Every week, you hear all about the many ways you can give electronically to support this online outreach, like using the QR code on the screen, going to give.weputlovefirst.org, or downloading the Vanco mobile app. Then, when you're on our secure giving site, be sure to look for the line that says Studio Celebration Donation.
A contribution here lets us know you're out there, that the studio is important to you, and that you want to be part of supporting this growing digital outreach.
So wherever you are and whenever you're watching, we're glad you're joining us.
Thanks in advance for supporting the studio financially.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. of no. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bush of gold. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bush of gold. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. Everywhere that I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I am 'cause we are. I'm gonna let it shine. I am 'cause we are. I'm gonna let it shine. I am 'cause we are. I'm gonna let it shine. 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 Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yeah. We offer our hearts to cherish one and all. We offer our arms to brace against a fall. We offer our ears to listen carefully. We offer our hands to build community. We offer our gifts to live abundantly, that all the world might know respect and dignity.
The more I read up on Matthew chapter 10 in our current cultural reality, the more I see it for what it really is. Instructions from a subversive revolutionary to his band of insurgents. Jesus is sending his followers out with the warning that they're going to face hostility, rejection, and real danger. He tells them they're going to be like sheep among wolves. A vivid reminder to us that being a Jesus follower isn't all sweetness and light. Standing up for justice can have real costs. And while this story is set in around 30 of the Common Era, it wasn't actually written down until 50 or 60 years later, after the Romans had destroyed the temple and the urban areas were occupied by soldiers in full battle rattle to intimidate the locals. Josephus even talks about Romans dressing like Jews to pass among the crowds and listen for dissension, whereupon anyone who spoke ill of Rome were either detained or stabbed to death right there in the street. Jewish society was stressed to the breaking point, turning Jew against Jew, undermining long-held customs and traditions. And now, Jewish families were being torn apart by people going over from Judaism to this crazy Galilean cult. So, even though Jesus is sending his followers out to do good, speak up for justice, care for the marginalized, and proclaim that another, more compassionate way of living is possible, he basically issues warning after warning. Get ready. You're going to be rejected. And don't think it's going to be any easier with your friends and families. It may just be worse with them. Jesus didn't hold back putting it straight to his listeners. This kingdom way of life is going to be perceived as a threat to people who are steeped in traditional us versus them thinking. And the whole, you get what you deserve and you deserve what you get nonsense. They don't want to change. Even though the poor and downtrodden are suffering, things are okay for them. They want things to stay just the way they are. Now, we're only reading excerpts of Matthew 10, but if you read the whole thing, you'll see that Jesus emphasizes not belief, but on living the values of the kingdom here and now, treating people with dignity, feeding the hungry, and giving aid to the oppressed. He also gives them some very practical advice. Don't overpack your bags. Be humble and trust that doing good will open doors. If people don't respond, move on. They're just not ready. And let me just air one of my many frustrations with this passage. Fundamentalists and evangelicals completely warp this whole thing. Yes, Jesus says, look, it's not going to be smooth sailing or universal applause. People are going to reject you. And yet, this feeds into their whole victim narrative, where they think, oh, woe is me. Christians are being so oppressed. So they double down on their commitment to hate LGBTQ plus people, subjugate women, discriminate against minorities, and force their distorted 10 Commandments onto everyone. What Jesus is really saying is that challenging injustice, calling out corruption, and speaking truth to power ruffles feathers. Even small acts, sharing a meal, offering a kind word, standing up for someone who's being bullied, are participation in what is essentially a covert movement to put love, not compliance or obedience to the status quo, first. So, please note, Jesus' pep talk here is not about consenting to doctrine or reciting creeds. It's a call to be brave, be ethical, be compassionate, and be bold. He's sending his followers out as agents of positive change, trusting that even though it means discomfort or threats, standing up for the widow, the orphan, and the alien among us is what the kingdom looks like. And that's true now, more than ever.
Our words of wisdom are excerpts from Matthew chapter 10, verses 16, following the Message version.
Jesus said, "Stay alert. This is hazardous work I'm assigning you. You're going to be like sheep running through a wolf pack. So don't call attention to yourselves. Be as shrewd as a snake, inoffensive as a dove."
And don't be naive. Some people will question your motives. Others will smear your reputation. Just because you believe in me. When people realize it is the living God you are presenting and not some idol that makes them feel good, they're going to turn on you, even people in your own family.
There is a great irony here. Proclaiming so much love, experiencing so much hate. But don't quit. Don't cave in. It is all well worth it in the end. It is not success you are after in such times, but survival. Be survivors.
Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
Thanks be to God.
Join me in the Wayback Machine, won't you? We're somewhere in Europe, 450 years ago. Explorers are crossing oceans. The recently invented printing press is disseminating new ideas. Da Vinci is sketching the first helicopter and parachute, and the first globe is invented. And yet, despite their predictability, the stars above remain mysterious. But one thing everyone is absolutely certain of: the Earth is the center of everything. The sun, the planets, even the stars all revolve around us. But a Polish mathematician noticed patterns that just didn't make sense if the Earth was standing still. After decades of observation, he realized that it is only when you take the Earth out of the center and put it in orbit around the sun with the other planets does the solar system make any sense. But despite how elegant and understandable it was also decidedly heretical. Conflict avoidant, he floated hints about his discovery in a 1514 manuscript, but in a world where the church dominated all thought, he kept his revolutionary heliocentric model under wraps for the next 30 years. It was only on his deathbed in 1543 that he reckoned he was safe enough from confrontation with the authorities to actually publish his work. Even then, it was another 90 years before Galileo made his idea public. And for his trouble, Galileo was tried for heresy and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. But by then, the cat was out of the bag. And we will forever associate the astronomical revolution that followed with Nicholas Copernicus, the reluctant renegade who essentially changed the shape of the universe. Thanks to Nicholas and his Copernican revolution, humanity learned to look up and realize the cosmos is bigger, more complex, and far more dazzling than we ever imagined. Fast forward to this week and the unusually difficult time I had in pulling together what I wanted to share with you. Truth be told, I was feeling a whole new level of sympathy for Nicholas Copernicus. With celebrities being suspended, professors and administrators being fired, and with the vice president encouraging people to turn in their friends and get them fired for saying anything bad about Charlie Kirk, I had to ask myself, do I, with Copernicus, wait until my deathbed to point out the obvious truth? Or do I say something now? With so many others in my position, I've struggled with the nuance of how to simultaneously condemn the political violence that took Charlie Kirk's life, while at the same time pushing back against the headlong rush of people to venerate someone whose worldview and values, while claiming to be Christian, completely betrays the message of Jesus. And to do so at essentially the same hour the world watches him being honored at a massive presidentially attended memorial service only a few miles down the street here in Phoenix. But I've heard from enough of you who are frightened and despairing of hope that I knew I had to say something. And if I've learned anything as a pastor for nearly 40 years, it is that genuine healing from conflict only comes from being honest. So let me begin by saying and claiming what shouldn't need to be said or claimed, and that is, no one deserves to be killed for their beliefs. Free speech is a sacred bedrock principle of our democracy, even when we don't agree with the ideas being expressed. Which is why, even as many seek to raise up Charlie Kirk as a champion of free speech and the Christian ideal, I have the freedom to raise the alarm about the tsunami of praise and adoration for a person who, on virtually every point, advocated for a kind of Christianity that Jesus would simply not have recognized. Dismissive of equality, of care for the poor, of racial and gender justice, of compassion for immigrants, and even of nonviolence, all of which stand in direct opposition to everything progressive Christianity has worked toward for generations. Some of you know that I write a regular column for Progressive Christianity's Progressing Spirit page online. A couple of weeks ago, I wrote a Q&A responding to someone who said they had a problem with progressive Christianity. I started my response with, one of my problems with people who have problems with progressive Christianity is that they usually don't know enough about Christianity to know that they don't know anything about Christianity. And that's the bottom line of where we're at with most conventional American Christians right now. Most of them have been conditioned over the years into believing that what they're practicing is something Jesus would approve of. And nothing could be further from the truth. What they have managed to do, from their little country church to their massive megachurches, is to be slowly indoctrinated into what is rapidly becoming full-blown white Christian nationalism. And few have said it as clearly as my friend Kurt Struckmeyer, who describes the divide in American Christianity being between those who practice the gospel about Jesus versus the gospel of Jesus. Conventional American Christians practice the gospel about Jesus, where one's acceptability as a Christian is based solely on one's adherence to a set of beliefs, most of which are based on a literal interpretation of the Bible and the embrace of the historic creeds of the church. On the other hand, are those of us who practice the gospel of Jesus, of which our passage today is a clear expression. What does Jesus ask his followers to do? Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those with leprosy, drive out demons. Nothing about belief. And like the Beatitudes and so much of the rest of the Gospels, Jesus says, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did for me. Jesus wanted his followers to do, not to believe. And every push for justice, every voice raised for equality, every hand extended in compassion is a continuation of Jesus' sacred work. And that's why what we need in Christianity is a 21st century Copernican revolution, taking the belief out of the center of Christianity and replacing it with action. And not just any action, but the action Jesus called us to be on about, caring for the outcast, the stranger, and those who are suffering, especially at the hands of religious bullies who convince their followers that their hatred and exclusion of others is condoned by Jesus. Now more than ever, the world needs progressive Christianity, a movement that embraces spiritual curiosity and honesty, a people who stand for equality, inclusion, the care of the least among us, and it cannot be said enough, the non-violent resolution of conflict. The proponents of white Christian nationalism are depending on people like us to remain quiet, intimidated into inaction. But we are called to speak truth, even when it is unpopular, to act boldly, even when it is dangerous, and to put love first, even when we feel fear. In the NRSV version of today's passage, Jesus tells his followers, "You will be hated by everyone because of me. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved." And as we know, the word saved is not about some cosmic reward in heaven, but about the much more immediate, earthy notion of being made whole. Friends, despite how brilliant Nicholas Copernicus was, in the end, he was a wimp. He didn't have it in him. He looked around at the situation and said, "Nope, I'm comfortable just the way things are. Best not to ruffle any feathers." What he couldn't arouse in himself, we have plenty of models for, from the prophets to Jesus to the countless other saints who have changed the world for the better, including Nelson Mandela, who reminds us, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." Back in the 90s, I was part of a concerted effort on the part of over 150 Arizona clergy to make marriage equality legal in this state. Little did we know the extent of the vast right-wing conspiracy that we would be up against in that work. Much of it was manifested by conservative clergy who desperately tried to convince people, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that Jesus found homosexuality to be objectionable. And when they couldn't find satisfaction in condemning people to hell, they opted for death threats against those of us who were advocating for inclusivity. I always remember how odd it was when the detective came to my house to collect for police files the letters that I'd received from fellow Christians describing all the ways they wished for me to suffer and die. And friends, these are not evil people. They're just very, very frightened people. And they don't know what to do with their fear other than to lash out. They're afraid of people of color, of LGBTQ plus people, of changes in society that take them outside of their comfort zones. And so this last week, we had one person who allegedly claims to have been so frustrated with the hate that he lashed out in murderous hate. And what has that wrought? More hate. So here's where we come in. Our passage today says, "It is not success you are after in such times, but survival." Be survivors. Because when we survive, Jesus' genuine message of love, acceptance, and empathy survives. Our Matthew passage has Jesus warn his followers. He says that when people realize it is the living God you are presenting and not some idol that makes them feel good, they're going to turn on you. And someday, in what I fear is a distant future, people may look back and be able to see clearly that Charlie Kirk is one of those idols, a figure people have raised up to near divine status to make them feel good about their racism, their misogyny, xenophobia, and bigotry against gender minorities. But what do those who are striving to live with spiritual integrity have in the meantime? Unrelenting tension. Yes, we unequivocally denounce the murder of Charlie Kirk. No one deserves to be silenced through violence. But that doesn't mean we can't also stand firmly against the message he spent his life promoting. It's a difficult balance to maintain, but one that Jesus would want us to strive for. Because now more than ever, Jesus needs followers who have the courage to proclaim what his message is really all about. A love that transcends the noise and fear, a love that rejects violence and embraces justice, equality, and compassion, and a love that refuses to let grievance or outrage compromise the very values Jesus called us to live into. Now, more than ever. Be well. Don't forget, if you liked what you heard today, buy me a coffee. The link's in the description.
Spirit sends us out. The Spirit calls us on. Spirit fills our hearts with love until our doubt is gone. Oh, Spirit, with your hope.
Let us offer these words of challenge and blessing to one another as we go. Go, the world trembles with uncertainty.
May our hearts be fearless, rooted in love.
Go, the world is roiling with division.
May our lives embody unity in diversity.
Go, the world is wallowing in violence.
May our voices be instruments of truth, our hands instruments of healing.
Go, the world is suspicious of empathy.
May we act with compassion.
Go boldly into the darkness, for you are the light.
May the Spirit guide us to put love first.
Now, more than ever.
Amen.